Welcome to the bunker.
Preppers, survivalists, off-gridders, homesteaders, and the like. Welcome to Top's Bunker, a podcast for preppers. Please check the show notes in your podcast player for a link to help support the show. I want to thank y'all for joining us. We got a great show for you, so let's get to it. Whoa.
Welcome to the bunker.
What is going on? I know we are recording, so that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy, you were at the MPP Midwest Preparedness Project Spring Festival.
Yeah, it was Spring Festival. They have one in the fall as well. Yeah, it was a good time. Got to meet a lot of interesting people. Did a lot of, got to do a few interesting things, and it was just a great time in general. Just hang out with Bobby Spags and Pat. Jake, I got to spend a lot of time with him. He's doing some good things. If anybody's out in the Midwest, he's going to start teaching radio classes. So might even be able to take him on the road. So I'm actually talking with him about that, seeing if we can find some venues out there to train in. So if anybody would like to have some radio, Baofeng, simple handheld radio, or, beyond the Baofeng, classes taught in their area, just hit me up and we'll try to work something out with you.
Did you stay in a tent, or what'd you do?
No. I actually, the weather was looking like it was going to get sketchy, and I decided to get a hotel.
Nice.
And it rained every day a little bit. So I should have probably just went ahead and stayed in the tent, but reasons.
I mean, why be uncomfortable, man? Shit.
Yeah. I was.
Let's be honest. Camping is uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I do camp a few times a year, and I had some other things going on where I needed a lot of Wi-Fi, so doing some work at night and in the morning and stuff on another project. So didn't really fit in there. Starlink would be great. I should have brought it with me.
Any big stars show up in the preparedness world?
Well, you had Viking Preparedness there, and I met him for the first time. And he's one of those that actually got me into prepping, or the preparedness world, as we could say, this preparedness space. But he's a really good dude, really down to earth, easy to talk to. Like to get him on the show. Just a genuinely great guy, and very knowledgeable.
Years of experience.
Yeah, and he was the first person when I was looking into the preparedness world, prepping. He was the first person I found, and then he turned me on to Bear, and then I found
Off-grid Texas. Yeah,
there was a group that was North Texas off-grid preparedness something or other. I found them a little bit out of my space, but a little further away than I wanted to travel to see these guys. But then I found your podcast, and and the stories told after that.
And the whole world changed for you, didn't it?
Oh yeah, yep. Another person that was there was Grunt Proof. He's a he's an ex-Army infantry guy, YouTuber. He goes out and test gear. He's got training events. He does a lot of different things on YouTube. Give a little shout out to him. He's another genuinely great guy. Just really humble. Can't say enough good things about Grunt Proof. Also, we have a guy by the name of Grumpy Acres. He's out there in the homestead prepper community, and he's all over the YouTubes and social media and stuff. He just recently wrote a book, or he's in final stages of a book. He's sending me a copy to read, and then would like to have him on, talk about his book and preparedness and things of that nature. So, yeah, there's just a lot of great people, good time. But yeah, I highly suggest you get out to these festivals, meet some people. You might meet people from your area and start to collaborate with them, do some things. There's a lot of trainers that go out there. You'll be surprised at who's in the crowd. There's people just walking around that's got a lot of skills and met several different, ham radio operators, a couple guys from Amron, some different clubs in that area up there with ham radio and help them connect with some more people to, start a club up or basically grow their club. So, it's just great. It's a great fellowship, family event that you can get there with like-minded people and just go have a good time.
Now, what about wasn't it like a garage sale type of thing? What do they call that?
They call it Barter Town.
Yeah.
Barter Town. Oh man. The takeaway from Barter Town is I will get some cute, little teenage girls to do my bartering for me because they can go up there with a smile and some cookies and walk out with a K-bar. I mean, it was crazy, the shit they were doing. I saw some soap, 4 or 5 bars of soap getting traded for, what was that? It was something that was way worth more than 4 or 5 bars of soap, but just crazy stuff. Scopes getting traded for radios.
So no real cash. It's all bartering.
It's all bartering. Now there was gold backs and silver out there. A lot of people had silver coins. There were a few silver certificates out there that I saw. There was anything from a book collection to junk. Joe Dolio from our podcast. When is that going to air?
Dolio already aired.
Okay, so great. So his books, all five of his books went for one radio, but it was a pretty good radio. There was plants being traded for soap, books just for plants, your basic starts, your plant starts and stuff. So man, it was
tomatoes, peppers, things like that.
Yeah, it was an awesome time, man. I had a tremendously great time. And
okay, and they're going to be doing it again in the fall, which is awesome. It's going to come up pretty fast. Cool. That's awesome, man. Thanks for the update. And Jeremy, you just got back from a trip on the open seas. Did you come back with hantavirus or what?
Henta? No. I think I came back with either a parasite or norovirus. And
wait, for real?
Yeah. So our last stop was it's a big fancy water park. It's a part of the Grand Bahama Island, and it's owned by Carnival. And that morning I got up early, did my normal thing, and I ate at what is essentially like a taco place on the boat. Never had a problem with it before, but I ate there that morning. We got off the boat, and within a few minutes of us walking around, I felt kind of like weird and unsteady, almost like I had sea legs. And then within a few minutes, my stomach started bubbling and rumbling, and I thought, okay, well, I got something going on. And I literally spent half of that day in a bathroom, and it's been going on. I think I'm on day 5. So
it doesn't really happen that fast, though. It's probably the night before, man.
I don't know. So I've gotten on the
through your
Facebook
system just in like minutes. Wow.
It could be, or it could have been from the night before, or it could have been something that had been cooking up for maybe a few days.
And anything on the boat is supposed to be safe.
Oh yeah. And and it could have been from Cozumel. No, I didn't drink the water. And I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that the symptoms match norovirus. I haven't seen anything crawling out of me yet, so I don't know if it's yeah, I know, right? But overall, it was a great trip. I'm not complaining about the boat at all. But the whatever this is that's in my stomach, man, it is life altering. Like it's, I should be like 45 pounds, But yeah, it's been pretty rough. But
Well,
yeah.
that makes for a great segue. Not,
Yeah.
but let's go ahead and do it anyway. We're gonna segue into our gardens. I know, Jeremy, you got lots to talk about. How did your garden survive with you not being there for a week?
Well, thankfully it did rain while we were gone. We were able to get one of our daughters to come over and give them a general watering when it was not raining, which, it could have gone better, but I'll take what I can get. It's not like last year when we were on that 2-week trip and came back and basically everything was dead. So,
Well, a lot can happen in 2 weeks, man, to a garden.
Oh yeah. So, we've been out there the past couple of days monitoring everything, readjusting our watering schedule because our weather, dude, I don't know what the hell is going on. It's been all over the place. 80s, 90s, 40s, 60s, 80s, 40s. I mean, there's no real consistency to the point where I've had to pick up buckets of certain things and move them into other areas to either get more light or more heat as I can. Because the stuff that should be like really up and moving by now is kind of stalled out. So we've got 38 corn plants going right now, and they were doing like really great, progressing like they should. And we altered, like we have our first ones that we planted, and then we have 3 weeks, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later, we have the next crop after that. So we're doing succession planting, but everything just kind of like took a pause for the cause. And for corn specifically, they like consistent soil temperatures of 72 degrees or more. That's got to be consistent. And we've not had consistency with our weather. It's just been weird, man. But
no, that's exactly what's happening with our corn as well. I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, same thing. I think it's a soil temperature. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, because all of our soil is amended. We at the bottom of all of our buckets, instead of just going straight dirt, we've got compost in the bottom. We've got dead material and stuff like that. And so it's not the soil, I don't think. I think what it is the variances in temperatures, a little bit of a lack of sun, and the soil temperature specifically. Which is, I think, because right now, so to go down the list, of course, we've got corn, we've got beans, we've got radish, we got carrots, we have garbanzo beans this year, buttload of tomatoes, jalapenos, the lemon drops, bell peppers. Let's see. We've got melons, a couple different types of melons. We've got potatoes, both sweet and reds. And we've got okra, because we like to grow a lot of okra. And we've got tons and tons of stuff going. And I completed our trellis system. And we've got our large boxes out there, and I mean, everything's it's coming along. It's just not where I would like it for it to be. It's May right now, and I'm already thinking about like August, September, to do another batch of carrots for the cold weather. And then our cool weather plants are doing great. I did a video today, posted it on the Facebook page. I've got a celery plant out there that's probably 2.5, 3 feet tall. It just went buck wild. We're going to go ahead and let it bolt and produce seed. We've got onions producing seed soon. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen, but it also makes me kind of wonder what this summer is going to be like with these variances in temperatures that we're having right now. Is it going to be a mild summer? Is it going to be melt your face off hot? I'm not 100% sure. I follow the Farmer's Almanac pretty well. And then I look at what's actually happening, and I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be accurate this year. I don't know if what is it, El Nino or La Nina or whatever. I'm not even sure which is which. I know one's a boy and one's a girl. So
it changes the jet streams and how everything sort of functions,
Well, I think that if we as human beings would stop fucking with the weather, we might have a little bit more consistency. But yeah, so everything is progressing. It's just not quite progressing as I would like. But then again, I've got like jalapenos, peppers, and stuff like that, okra. They require a lot of heat, and that's how they generate their growth. But like is through heat, and of course the sun. Because unlike a lot of plants, most peppers don't actually need insects for pollination. They can pollinate with the wind. And we've talked about this before. It's why you try to keep all your peppers in separate areas, because you'll end up with hybrid peppers, which is cool for eating, but it's not cool for preserving seed. So it's a trick, because our winds here are pretty prevalent from one direction, and trying to keep all of those, just in their own sort of little neighborhood. And even the word segregation is, it's got a negative connotation. I want them to stay in their own hood, just, not produce any hybrid plants, which, if they do, they do. We're going to pickle them or eat them or do whatever we're going to do with them. But it creates an issue with trying to preserve that seed. But we've got everything in place, I think, that we're going to end up doing. And we're already projecting forward for the fall. For our colder weather plants, and trying to figure out, because we can do most of our stuff in the greenhouse for our colder weather stuff, but trying to decide what we're going to do. And how much we want to do. So the over-weathered peppers that survived are doing fantastic. They're bushing out nicely. They're already getting ready to flower. I've got to strip off the bottom leaves as soon as that happens. But I think we should have already seen a few tomatoes by now, and we haven't seen any yet, which kind of makes me wonder, are they all going to start producing at one time and just flood us with tomatoes? So, and to finish up, the other big thing that we're really trying to stay ahead of this year, based off of what happened last year, is pest control. So we have a grub problem, and we know we have a grub problem because we have a mole problem. So we're finding more and more tracks from moles in the yard. So we got out there and we were doing something in the garden. It was just grub after grub after grub after grub after grub. And walking around in the front yard, we've got soft spots all over the place, and you can see the tunnels. So I bought some stuff to put out there. I'm just a little pensive about putting it around the garden. And Seven Dust.
Let me ask you, do the grubs eat the roots? Is that what? Because we got grubs. Yeah. I don't see them being a real problem. Every time I find one, I just throw it over to the chickens. But I don't see it as being a problem. Well,
so when you see those great big fat
the big
grubs,
white ones,
the big nasty looking, they got a brown ass and a bunch of pinchers.
Yeah.
So they do eat roots. The moles like to eat the grubs. So, and what ends up happening is as the moles come in and they tunnel, they're creating channels of air that are, there's gaps in the ground, basically. So if you've got roots in that area, and let's say the grubs have been munching on the roots, the mole will, come along, eat the thing, but there's that gap left behind. So you've created a pocket of air where your roots are. We don't have a whole lot actually in the ground. The majority of our stuff is in raised beds and buckets. So hopefully we can
But your raised beds, they're still on the ground, aren't they? Or are they actual raised, like up on a stand?
No, they're raised, but we do have a protective barrier. So I put a protective barrier down, I punched, some holes in it. And then I put our compost and cardboard and, leaves and all that other crap in there. And the dirt's on top. But the grubs can get in there. That we actually found grubs in our buckets. And they'll just get up in there between the space where we drilled our holes. And their nature is to as they're developing, they start low and then they come higher and higher and higher, and then they become a moth. So they're good fishing bait, but as soon as we see them, it's like, oh shit, man, we start looking for mole tunnels. So, but yeah, as far as like progression, I'm happy with what we have. I think that we should be further along in development, but I'm okay right now. We're watering consistently, which is one of the biggest things, because a lot of people get out there and water every day, and they don't realize that it's not necessarily about watering every day. It's about watering consistently. So if you say on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays, or, whatever days you pick, I'm going to water, but being consistent with the time of water in the plant, like to our tomatoes. You never want to water your leaves. You go and actually water the base of the plant, and I hold it for 5 and I let it sink. As long as it doesn't take too long to sink, I'll move on to the next one. And it's just about being consistent. And plants like tomatoes, for instance, you have to think about a tomato as one big root. So all of those little hairs that are coming up off of the plant and the base stems, those can all become new roots and new tomato plants. So you have to monitor those, because tomatoes like to be deep. They're heavy feeders, but they like consistency. That's what they like. So, but yeah, man, it's, our garden is probably double the size that it was last year. And we do not have anything like physically touching the ground except for flowers. So,
wow.
Yeah. And that's just because of what happened last year. And as for instance, our squash. Oh my God. If I find one more squash bug, I'm going to go. It's going to be.
But you haven't found any this year, though.
Not yet, but our squash are still very small. So, yeah. But what's going to end up happening is as they hopefully grow tall, we're going to put them in cages. We're going to put them in tomato cages. And as they're coming up, instead of letting them bush up, we're going to take off those bottom leaves, which it's still, you can get them, but the borers are actually interested in the base, and the borers are going to come up from the ground. So hopefully by having them in containers this year and up off the ground, we can kind of keep it to a minimum, but you can still find them. A lot of people mistake the larvae, but the nits, the little babies, they mistake them for assassin bugs because they look exactly like baby assassin bugs. But you'll find them, if you find a large one, you always have to check up underneath the leaves for black dots. That's their eggs. So you can actually take a lint roller and turn the leaf over, and you can take that lint roller and you roll it over those eggs, and it just pulls them right off. So it's just,
that's a great idea. I've seen people use duct tape turned backwards around their hand.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just about monitoring them. And, we go out at night with a black light and check for hornworms on the tomatoes, which is really one of the only ways you can find hornworms. Because if you're out there during the day and you're staring at that plant, you could be looking at, you could be staring
directly at it, right in the eyes of a hornworm, and not even know it's sitting there.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
Crazy.
Yeah, I
camouflaged.
Hate those things so much. But having learned what I've learned so far about, and I'll look it up here in just a moment, but the type of wasp that actually seeks out hornworms.
It's so nasty. That's nasty.
Yes. But and when I realized that those big, nasty white egg looking things are coming out, those are not the worm's eggs. The worm is a baby. For it, that's literally what it is. It's a baby at that point.
It's a caterpillar, basically.
Yeah. And I saw him and I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's going to rupture out with new babies. And I did a little research, and it was this wasp that it finds it paralyzes it, lays its eggs. And then once the eggs develop, they eat their way out. And I was like, that's fucking metal.
That's like alien shit right there, man.
Yes, it is.
Come on.
So it's called a braconid wasp, and it looks a lot like a dirt dauber. I think they're related. And
so that's what I heard, that they were actual dirt daubers that were doing it. But I know dirt daubers make a mud nest.
Yeah, so they make a mud nest. They'll paralyze.
And I played with dirt daubers. They don't even sting. So I think they're slightly different.
I mean, they can, but they will. I mean, you really gotta screw with those things. But the braconid wasp, it lands, it stings, and then it leaves. So it's a helicopter.
Apparently,
bomb.
It has no problem finding the hornworm.
But then the dirt dauber, it stings it, and then it actually packs that paralyzed insect into its nest. Same concept. It lays its egg inside of the insect. Yeah. And then, the egg does its thing, crawls out, and then it continues the cycle. But these braconid wasps, they're not huge, but they are related to the dirt dauber. And you just, when you see a hornworm with those, oh my God.
I've never seen one like that.
It's just so horrible to see. It's just so nasty looking. It's just, they're white egg sacs, and they're all over the worm, and they develop, and then they eat their way through the worm. And I'm like, dude, nature is metal. It is metal as hell. It is crazy. So, but yeah, we're already thinking about that. And we've got, the tools to take care of it, but this other stuff to take care of the grubs, I'm pensive to have it anywhere near the garden. I've got diatomaceous earth, and I've got Sevin Dust, which is a lot more, I guess, garden friendly. But this other stuff for the grubs, it's pretty much poison, and I don't want it anywhere near, the garden if I can prevent that from happening. So,
my prepper brothers and sisters, we'd like to remind you that the Tops Bunker podcast now has its own YouTube channel where you can listen to all our episodes and watch some videos as well. We have live events planned for this summer and giveaways, so don't miss out. Please stop by the new channel and subscribe. We need those subscriptions and appreciate your support. YouTube.com/Tops Bunker Podcast. Hit the subscribe button and comment as much as you like. Now, back to the show.
Buddy, are you back?
Oh, yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I've been having internet problems, I guess.
Nice. So what's going on with your garden?
My garden. Well, I think it's kind of like yours. It's stunted right now. We're stuck still in spring when it should be transitioned into summer. I think the cool weather, my cool weather crops are doing fine. A lot of the stuff that needs that 70-degree temperature or above to the seeds to germinate, they're still dormant. So I don't know and they've been that way for a couple months now. So don't know whether to go in and reseed or let it take its course. I don't know. I haven't even experienced this, yet, but bugs, I haven't really seen any bugs yet. So that's a good thing. Besides ticks are terrible.
Tick season is bad this year, man. It's bad. It's really bad. This is like probably the worst season I've seen right now. And I've got guineas and chickens and turkeys eating them, and it's still bad.
Talking with one of the guys there, and he has guineas, and he said that ticks are so bad where he's at that the guineas can't keep up.
They can't keep up.
Yeah. He said, it's just it's bad, but the flowers are progressing great. I've had 3 tomatoes so far. Peppers, I've had, I don't know, about a dozen peppers, but everything right now is dormitory. So is dormant. I don't know what's going on with I got a stunted, the last tomato was stunted a little bit, but everything's starting. We're getting a little bit warmer weather now. Supposed to get some rain. So hopefully with this last rain a couple days ago, looked like I'm starting to see life again. The tomato plants, pepper plants are starting to flower a little bit. Um, some of the actual flowers are starting to, come to a head. And, I don't know. It's a weird spring. I don't know. Just, it hasn't got, it just, the conditions aren't right for flourishing, I guess. So I'm just glad I did but all the spring, early spring, plants are doing great. So I don't know, spinach. I've had a couple, different. I have 3 gallon bags of spinach that I've froze. Uh, 2 bags of cilantro froze. We like to make salsa and do some different things, and spinach goes in everything. So uh, it's been slow, but it's coming along. It's just, I guess, patience. Maybe, I don't know. We shall see.
So yeah, we're having all the same kind of problems you're having. We're definitely more north than both y'all are here. So like you said, it was spring is still sticking around, and that's what's happening. Like right now, it's in the 80s. It's hot as shit. There's not a single cloud in the sky. Right before I came on, I was out there. I just built another 4x8 bed. I have one more to go. But we're just running out of space. So I built another bed, and I was out there in that heat. Tonight it will be 51. Last night it was right around 49. And that's what's wrong with my pepper plants. I have pepper plants all over the place, even my overwintered ones. And they're green and they're lush, but they're not growing. And it's that soil temperature. It's just not, it goes down and gets too cold, at night. And the next day it takes so long to get back up to temperature again. Plus we have the hay, we use straw as a mulch on top of the soil. That also holds in, keeps it from getting warmer as well. So I think that's what's happening. I mean, I had the plants are doing very good. I even had 2 jalapenos grow, popped them off and fed them to the chickens. But they were, so they're healthy. They're just not, booming, growing up. Now, we've been eating kale, collard greens, spinach for the past month. Our cold weather crops are doing fantastic. We got cabbage and collards, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, kale. All those plants are doing fantastic. They haven't fruited yet. They haven't they haven't turned up anything yet, but they're huge. They're big and they're healthy, and there's no bugs eating them, and everything's green and lush. So really nice. The tomato plants are also beautiful. We have, oh my goodness. Let me see. We have 5 8x4 beds of tomatoes with trellises, and I'm building some more trellises this week for the other ones. We've got Romas, San Marzanos, Mountain Cherry, Tidy Treats, it's like a cherry, white cherry, beefsteak, Cherokee purples and greens. We got the Brandywines, the pink and the yellows. And there's one other one. I can't remember. It's a big one like a beefsteak, but I can't remember the name of it. Got it from Johnny's Seeds, but 2 years ago, and they popped up too. Those plants were all. What's that? Go ahead.
Early girl.
It might be an early girl. I think it might be. Yeah.
Is it already starting to produce?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, I had the early girls last year. Couldn't find them this year. But had them last year. Somebody had made some from in their hoop house over the winter,
right?
And man, they produce great until about June. Yeah, so and then the beefsteak started coming in. So I like that combination a lot.
We've got some Mountain Fresh, and it's possibly an early girl that we've got tomatoes on it, but they're still green. That's it. But the plants themselves are really healthy. They're 4 feet tall. All of them, every single one of them are 3 and 4 feet tall. So they're up there. I thought I had more time to build the trellises. I'm still cutting wood, on the mill, but and I've got the strings and the clips and all that stuff. I just haven't put it all up yet, but they're stable. They're solid plants that are just upright. But I think that came from, growing them for a long time in the grow room indoors. And also we hardened them off for like 3 weeks because we just were nothing was right temperature wise and storm wise and all that to actually go in the garden. So they got an extended period of hardening off, every single day out in the sun and the wind. We even kept them out there overnight one night just to get a little chilly a few times, just to get to feel the chill, and all that. And I think that really added to the health of the plants.
Interesting. I'm actually not a gigantic fan of beefsteaks. I don't know what it is about beefsteak tomatoes, but I don't think they have enough flavor for me personally. That's why I like the Cherokee purples so much and the Romas. And we do have brandy wines, but something about beefsteaks, it just don't.
I agree with
you.
It is 100%. But I just think every garden's got to have at least one beefsteak. I mean, I think we got like 3 or 4, but
I love them for just for BLTs alone.
Yeah, sandwiches. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, that's why we grow them. Yeah, it's a big slicer, and you throw them on your BLT, which is like every weekend. Saturday, it seems like if we're out, if we're at home, we're making a BLT. Just I don't know why. It's
I mean, how could you not, man? Come on.
Yeah, and we last night we ate. We had one of those tray lasagnas you buy frozen, and popped it in the oven, did some garlic knots, and then went out and got spinach and some arugula out of the garden and made a salad. And man, there's something about what you grow in your own garden.
Dude, no doubt.
Nothing tastes better.
Nope.
I this batch of arugula that we've got out in the garden right now is probably one of the strongest arugulas that we've ever grown.
Oh man!
Yes. And I'm out there and I love it. It's got a spice to it. It's not overpowering. I love the smell and like that buttery sort of nutty taste.
Yeah.
But I got one of my granddaughters. They were asking me, and they're like, Peepaw, that's what they call me. They're like, Peepaw, what is that? And I said, this is called arugula. It's kind of like lettuce. And I picked one off and I started eating it. They're like, oh my gosh, I want one. And they started eating it and they looked at me and they're like, why is it spicy? Like they immediately spit it out. But we'll go out there, strip off some branches and mix it with lettuce and like the spring mix stuff that you buy and just chop it all up real fine and make a huge salad. I love it, man. It's just when you have food that like real actual food that we're supposed to consume, man, it makes me wonder why people still eat the shit that they eat. It confuses me, And I think really what it is that people are so damn lazy now. They won't go out there and actually grow their own food. And when stuff really does happen, and again, you got preppers out there who believe in nothing but guns and, dried beans. Cool. Man, eat a fucking vegetable every once in a while. And if you don't know how to grow it, man, you're going to suffer. You are going to suffer. I can just tell you right now, those of y'all who think that living on rice and beans or stuff like that for an extended period of time is going to be okay, all you're doing is it's a lot of protein in beans. Great. But all you're doing is just filling your belly. You're going to get sick of it after a while. And being able to grow your own food really it's not just that it's a blessing, but it's what you're supposed to be doing. It's what we as human beings are supposed to do.
For those of you who think that the grocery stores are always going to be open and full, go back to last week and listen to what Bear was talking about, the Bear Independent episode. He'll give you a little shock and awe about the possibilities of what we could have in our future. So preparedness, and you know what? You're right, Jeremy. If I couldn't live here, if I couldn't be on a homestead or even have a yard, if I was in if I went back to living in, let's say, dare I say it, an apartment, I don't care. I'm still going to grow stuff in pots. I can't not grow stuff now that I've been growing stuff. There's no way.
Yeah, you can't go back, man. No, once you've had like especially that very first tomato that comes off and it's red and it's ready to go and you slice into that thing, there's like no describing how damn good that is. And now I'm thinking about BLTs. So
we have the BLTs without the B's, but it is what it is. But the the brandy. You're right also about the tomatoes, the Cherokee purples and greens. I love them both, and the Brandywine's pink and yellow. They're awesome. They're for what they are, they're ugly. They're ugly looking tomatoes. I don't even think you could probably sell them in the stores. They're so weird looking.
Yeah.
But man, I'm gonna tell you something. Rhonda was in Texas, and the very first Brandywine yellow popped up, and it was massive. And I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. I took it right off the vine right there. I cut it and ate it while I was standing it was like nothing I've ever tasted before.
Mm-hmm.
The flavor of this thing was like, it was like a meal in a tomato. It was incredible.
They're huge. And that's another thing to bring up. A lot of people go to the store and you see these, they're red and they're plump looking and they're juicy. They're probably GMO, or they're altered, but the only tomatoes that you buy in the store are hand picked for the way that they look, not necessarily because they taste good or, with altered foods, they may not necessarily be good for you either. And a lot of people, they'll see like a yellow Brandywine or they'll see a Cherokee purple and they're like, what the hell is wrong with that thing? Because it's all, it's funky, it's bumpy, it's got ridges, it's got crazy looking appearance. Those are the absolute best damn tomatoes. They are.
And here's
good.
Another thing you just touched on as well. You can't put Brandywines and Cherokees and these types of deals in grocery stores. They won't last.
No.
They'll be wilted in a couple of days. The stuff you see in the grocery stores is that way because it has to be that way. It won't survive on the shelves if it wasn't. It won't survive the trip to the grocery store.
Nope. No, we actually, when we start to see the very, very first blush, we'll give it about 1 day, and then we're going to go ahead and pull that tomato, and we're going to put it in a small brown paper bag with other tomatoes. There is a gas.
75%.
Yeah, it's a gas that I'm trying to remember the name. It's a particular.
Knows.
What's that?
Buddy knows. He talked about it last year.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but they produce the gas, which actually increases the speed of ripening, and you produce basically a better tomato in the end state.
Yeah, so. Definitely. If you're growing tomatoes, 75% red or 75% done, let's call it ripe. That's when you want to pull it off. Tomatoes are awesome. They're great, but you can take the whole vine, bring it inside, and it will still vine ripen. So
you want to, when they start to turn colors, when they first start to, go ahead and pull them off the vine. That way you keep the bugs, because that's what the bugs are waiting for. They're waiting for that when they start to turn colors and because it starts to get sweet for them, and that's what they're waiting for. If you want a better chance of getting your fruits, your tomatoes or your peppers, a better chance of survival without bugs getting into them, take them in early as soon as they start. Yeah, as soon as they start to turn, like you said, you can stick them on your counter under a light, stick them in a paper bag. Yeah, and on the counter, and just let them ripen up that way. Just way to control the ripening.
And you're also controlling the crop. As soon as you start picking tomatoes, it starts to grow more tomatoes. It's just nature, The tree is not there. The plant is not there to feed you. The plant is there to propagate. It's trying to grow tomatoes so that they fall on the ground, they rot, and the little seeds inside turn into new plants. When you take the tomatoes off the plant, they're like, where did my tomatoes go? Where'd my seeds go? And they start making more. That's just the way it works.
If you take all the tomatoes off one plant and, use them for a couple days and then take all the tomatoes from another plant and do that rotation thing, you'll get you're putting that, like you said, you're putting in that plant into survival mode, and because it wants to live and thrive. So it's like a succession planning without the planning. You're succession harvesting. Mm-hmm. So and it's a thing too. So
all of our brassicas that I mentioned, did I mention? Yeah, I mentioned them. They're all doing well, but I had them all under shade, so they're under 80% shade during the middle of the day, because it's just it's in the direct sunlight, and how brassicas and cauliflowers and Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, all that stuff does not do well in the direct sunlight and heat. And then of course we got our late summer, early fall plantings, which are going to be getting ready. We got kohlrabi, broccoli rabe, Siberian kale. Right now we're growing Russian kale, and it's
Oh, I love that.
That's what we've been eating. It's fantastic.
Love it.
Yeah, and the Siberian kale, turnips, and all that. That's going to be stuff we're going to be putting in the late summer, early fall, and we'll get a November harvest out of it. That's the plan. So
Let me ask you this about your kale.
Yeah.
Do you find when you guys are eating your kale, if you do not like, and I don't know another way to word this, but do you find that if you don't chew like the living hell out of your kale, like when you're chewing your food, does it ever mess up your stomach at all? Does it feel like it's,
oh yeah,
I don't know, like it's hard or something going down?
Are
Yeah,
you picking it when it's small, or are you picking it when it gets a little bigger?
That's the key right there. Yep.
I only the Russian red kale I only eat if it's bigger than a silver dollar, then it'll go to something else. You know what I mean? I try to keep it under a silver dollar because then it starts to get better.
Oh no, we get bigger. We get bigger than that.
Yeah,
ours is way bigger. But the thing is, we also I don't know what they call it, but we cut our salad when we're making our salads. We don't put whole leaves in the salad. We should cut them up into very thin slices. We like it that way.
Yeah, I chop up
kale,
our
you have to
salad.
do that. You do a lot less chewing. To answer your question, you do a lot less chewing on kale if you chop it up before you put it in the,
Okay.
Yeah, kale's fibrous too, so it's going to clean. It'll definitely clean you out. So
Yeah,
maybe that's what you need now.
That's
Just
what
to
a
go out
lot of
there and eat
people.
a bunch of kale.
A lot of people pick their okra when it's way too big. Anything beyond say, and my rule is about 3 inches. If it's beyond that, it's already turning rock hard. Yeah, and it's super duper fibrous.
Or saving for seed.
Yeah, at that point, if it gets beyond that and we haven't harvested it to eat, I'm just going to let it continue to grow. And when they brown out and they turn crusty, I'm going to go ahead and harvest the seeds. That's what we did with about half of our plants last year.
Well, last year we failed at the okra, and this year I grew a whole bunch of them in the grow room, and I didn't realize that it's actually a direct sow seed.
Yeah,
it does better that way. And you guys told me that, but I had already had them growing in the grow room when you guys told me that, and so I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? So I just grew them up nice. I fertilized them, in the grow room, got them all hardened off, and now I've got 6 okra plants out there. 2 are doing really nice. They're about 2 feet tall. The rest are still stunted and small, probably because of the heat. I don't know.
Well, here's another thing about okra, and I think I've mentioned this before. Okra is actually related to the hibiscus plant. It's when it flowers, it's got a really pretty flower. Take a look at that flower, and it is a hibiscus flower.
Oh, neat. That's cool.
Yeah.
So our corn, just like you, Jeremy, the corn is probably be about I would say a foot or so high, but that's it. It just stopped, and I guarantee it's because of the heat. It's the soil temperature's got to get up to around 70, really. And I think the soil temperature is still like, do you push your finger down into it deep, like 2 knuckles in? It's cold down there, So I just think that's what it is. But it's getting watered and fertilized every 2 weeks. The whole garden is. And it's getting watered. The corn's getting watered every day. So is the potatoes, the okra, all of the brassicas that gets watered. I keep that stuff pretty watered and cooled off. If it gets really hot in the middle of the day, I'll go out there and I'll actually hose down all of the brassicas, the actual leaves. They say, they say don't do that. Always water at the ground, not in the tops. But in the middle of the day, they love it. They love it that you cool them down, and they got capillaries in the leaves, which open and close, kind of like sweat glands, so to speak. And you cold them up, and they absolutely love it. And then that water is not going to sit on it. Like, you don't want to do that at night, because that water is going to sit on the leaf all night long, and you can bring in pests and blight, that sort of thing. But if you do it in the middle of the day when it's super freaking hot and full sun going on, you're going to cool them off. They're going to be happy. And then in about 5 minutes, they're going to be dry. It just dries them out. So it's good. I do disagree with you on the watering part of the tomatoes. We did what you said before about the regular watering the very first season, and I believe we overwater. So I did some study, and let me tell you something. There's a million different ways to water tomatoes, to grow tomatoes, to prune tomatoes, to even look at tomatoes. There's a million different ways. Okay, so nobody's wrong, nobody's right. What we do is I do deep watering, which is just like what you said. Put the nozzle right down to the base of the plant and let it sit there for about 5 to 10 seconds. So it's a deep water, but I do it irregularly. So I don't do it like every single day or every third day or once every week. I do it like 3 days, and the next time I'll do it like 5 days. And what I'm doing is I'm simulating rain, like rainstorms.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually a pretty good. I might look into that because we have had such a drought so far this year, and even though it did rain while we were gone, we're still technically in a drought right now.
Our problem was this: when we did the regular watering thing, the tomatoes were splitting.
Yeah,
they were splitting open, and people were saying, "Oh, you're watering them too much. You got to let them dry out a little bit." So I did a little research, and there's people out there that say water them deep, but water them irregularly, not on a regular basis. So we started doing that, and next thing you know, we got healthy plants. So, and I do that also with the pepper plants. I do the peppers and the tomatoes exactly the same way. Everything else gets watered slightly differently. So you can't. Not all plants are made the same. You got
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and especially like right now with those carrots and some other stuff, they need water regularly every day to get established, and then you kind of back it off.
We have not grown our carrots. I don't know what we're gonna do. We probably it might be too late. I don't know. I know you can do them in the fall, but the thing is, we have had 3 years of bad carrots, and so we went out and bought a bunch of seeds this past weekend, and we're gonna attempt it, trying to mend some soil just for the carrots. But like all of the cucumbers, we got a lot of those growing, and the loofahs. Those you got to water them every day or they'll dry out. They are like they will suck water up like it's free, which to them it is. But so that's the garden. I think it's doing very well. We took y'all's advice on the flowers like the marigolds, alyssums, nasturtiums, and nasturtiums, however you say that. And we went overboard. We went massively overboard. We have no bugs anywhere, man. We have every single square foot. There is some sort of flower growing somewhere in that garden. It's incredible. And those marigolds, they get big.
Yeah,
they're getting big. Alyssums, I'll take a picture and show you guys. But the alyssums are in our cabbage. They're all over the place, but they're mainly in our cabbage area and our onion area. And it's like they're sentinels. They're just surrounding the plants, just like watching over, waiting for bugs to come in and just snatch them out of the air.
Yeah. Now, have you ever tasted any of the nasturtium plants?
No.
They've got I've had it in salad. It's got a spice to it.
You can put it in salad, but
they've got a natural kind of spicy taste to it, and the whole plant is edible. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. All these different, like we have the parsley, the oreganos, we have all of the different types of basils and all that kind of stuff. Dill, we have all of that everywhere. It's just we planted it everywhere because those smells will keep the bugs from getting to your expensive stuff, your expensive plants.
Well, here's another thing you can do is you can do your regular rows, if that's how you're doing certain things. But a lot of your aromatic plants, your basils, your dill and stuff like that, you can chaos seed. You can chaos seed, water them in really good, and just have them do what they're going to do. Just have them go willy-nilly. Right. And all you're doing is you're supplementing your soil and you're keeping natural pest control going. But I consume dill. The dill that we grow, I freaking love dill. But on the other
it goes
side
into
of
all
that,
everything we pickle a lot of stuff, and it goes into all of it. So
oh yeah, but the only on the other side of that, you have to watch out for swallowtail butterflies. So swallowtails will go after plants that are related to oregano, and oregano is related to dill. They're in the same general family, and I have seen the swallowtail larvae destroy dill super duper fast. So
okay,
yeah, but you can do chaos seeding with a lot of your herbs and your aromatics. So, and at the time of this podcast coming out, there will be a video that will go on the YouTube channel for us. It'll be the garden. So I'm going to have a gardening video is going to go on there, and I'm still working on them. And I'm going to have a beekeeping one because we're doing a beekeeping episode coming up soon as well. So this way, when folks want to they listen to the podcast and they hear the beekeeping one, they can also go on and check out the video. I can't guarantee. Look, I'm not going to do these big production things. I tried all that. It takes too much time. It's just going to be us with a cell phone and taking a video, and you can look at stuff and then you can turn it off. That's it. I'm not doing all these big production things. I don't have time for it. It's just it's too time consuming. And people like raw video anyways. I mean, I put a video on the Facebook page today. Make sure you guys watch that. But, a lot of the videos that we've done as a group so far or individually that are just raw, showing how to do stuff, videos are that's what people like. At least I think that's what I like. I don't need production. I just want to know the information. I want to see it.
If you want me to, I can I think I can somehow take those videos and put them on the actual website or the YouTube channel as well. I don't know. I don't know what kind of file you have, or if you even want it on there, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much everything I got. The potatoes are in ground; they're popping up really nice, and the corn is doing what it's doing. And we got rows of this and rows of that. We just built another bed today, and I'm going to be putting a bunch of pepper plants in there. I think we're going to do the carrots in there as well and some other things, but I'm impressed. It's a fairly good looking garden, and it's a good start. So we'll see where it goes.
All right. It's not too late to start your garden. If you didn't get seed in at the beginning of, or the end of the winter going in, when it starts to warm up, go to Lowe's, go to Home Depot, go to a gardening center, get some ready-made plants, put something in the ground.
We did. We did our seeds at about 75% of the garden. The rest we got it at the garden center, man. There's tons of great stuff out there.
It's not too late to start. It's not too late to get your garden going. And then when you see that success, plan out the next year. Start getting your seeds early. Start planning out the layout so that way you're not wasting space and you're not overproducing one particular thing, and you're growing a variety. And just get it done. Just get your garden going. Just do it.
My prepper brothers and sisters, if you have an idea for a show topic or would like to be on the show as our guest, email shtf@topsbunker.com, website topsbunker.com, YouTube Tops Bunker podcast channel, and SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com/tops. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and remember, stay prepped, stay happy. Thanks for listening, and good night.